Lesson 2 consists of 3 parts. This is part 2 of 3. In this segment, we're going to look at setting up the basic properties and options. In this segment, we're going to look at how to set up the basic properties and options in MS Project 2013 Professional, so you can begin entering your project information. It is important to note that some of the properties and options need to be established before entering other information, or you may have to start your plan over again. So start up MS Project and follow along with the video. You will be using the Backstage view to start a new blank project. If MS Project didn't open on this page, you can get to the Backstage view through the File tab. Next, find the Project Information function in the Properties group of the Project tab. This provides you a pop-up box you can use to set the start date. The Schedule From drop-down should indicate project start date by default, but you should double-check it. This means that all tasks will be scheduled as soon as possible from the project start date. When you have completed these tasks, you can dismiss this dialog box by clicking OK. Next, you are going to establish the title of the project, the manager of the project, and the company. This information will be available and appear on some reports and views. To perform these tasks, return to the Backstage view. On the right-hand side, click on Project Information and then on Advanced Properties. This will open up a dialog box where you can enter the information on the Summary tab of the Properties dialog box. The title is New Book Launch. For author and manager, insert your name. And for the company, it's SDCE Publishing, LLC. When you are done, you can dismiss the dialog box by clicking OK. While still in the Backstage view, click on Options on the left-hand navigation. This will open a Project Options dialog box. Click on Schedule and scroll down until you see the area Scheduling Options for this project. Select All New Projects to make sure these options are set in all future projects as well. New tasks should be auto-scheduled and begin on the project start date. This makes the plan dynamic. As you make changes, the Gantt chart details will reflect them immediately. The default task type should also be fixed work. This means that when MS Project tries to decide what to adjust due to a change, it will leave your work estimates alone and continue to honor them. These are the estimates provided by the team, and you should not let the software change them. You shouldn't have to change anything else in this area, so you can go on to the next option. While still in the Project Options dialog box, click on Save. Here you want to be sure you check the Auto Save Every box. This makes sure your work is periodically saved in case your computer freezes or crashes. You can choose the timing, what projects you want to save, and if you want to be prompted or not based on your individual preferences. We've now completed setting up the basic options, so you can go ahead and click OK to dismiss the dialog box. Now let's take a look at the navigation in the actual application. In this navigation session, we're going to look at establishing the basic properties and options that need to be set up ahead of entering any information about your project plan. So we'll start here in the Backstage view. I'll click on New and choose a blank project. And then we'll come to the Project tab and click on Project Information. And the start date of my project, as you might recall from the slides, is January 1, 2016. So we drop down the start date field, advance a few months, click on Friday, January 1, 2016. And notice that I've said schedule from project start date. You can work your way backwards or go forward, but for most instances, I recommend scheduling from the project start date. And that's all you have to set up here. So we'll click OK. And now we'll go to the Backstage view again. And notice now we have info here. And I can come to Project Information and the Advanced Properties. And for the title, I'm going to type New Book Launch. And because of the setup of my laptop, my name is already here as the author. But I'm going to select it and make that name the manager as well. And again, because of the name of the laptop, actually the manufacturer, the company is Hewlett-Packard, but we're going to make that SDCE Publishing, LLC. So now I've completed the basic properties. Now let's go back to the Backstage view one more time and click on Options. You'll notice I have a lot of different options here that I can set, and each of these areas has many options. There are many configurable things within MS Project 2013. I really suggest that because change control is so hard to maintain, that you just touch the ones that we're going to talk about so that you'll make sure that you can get the correct results as you follow along and get the same plan that I will get by using the options that I've set up. You'll notice here, though, that the general options is where I started. My default view is Gantt with timeline, and if I didn't want to have the timeline visible all the time, I can just simply choose Gantt chart. You'll also see the date format, username, initials here, and some things about appearance, which we would have to worry about right now. On display, that addresses things like currency. All of the things that are here should be good for now. So we'll move on to schedule. You notice one very important area here is the working time and what they call calendar options. And the week starts on Sunday. A typical 40-hour week has been defined. I really recommend that you don't ever change that, even if your company works on a different schedule. It can be very difficult to manage some of the changes, and you may not need that level of precision in your plan. But nonetheless, this is where you would need to change them, and this is one of the areas that you have to change before you start entering any information about the project plan. It's critical that you do that, because if you change this when you have a plan in place, it may not update it all correctly. So we're going to come here to the section that we talked about in the slides, scheduling options for this project, and actually let's make it for all new projects. And you'll notice that I've already got things set up the way that I've suggested, that new tasks are created as auto-scheduled, that auto-scheduled tasks scheduled on project start date Duration is going to be entered in days, work is going to be entered in hours, and the default task type is fixed work. Now there are several other checkboxes here. Again, I recommend that we don't change those, and we don't really need to look at anything else below here. This should be fine. Proofing is going to be about spell checking and text checking, so we don't need to worry about that. And now we're going to come to save, which is the other area that I've mentioned. And you'll notice that you can change your default location. For now, I'm just going to keep mine as documents. You might want to set up a folder on your laptop or computer where you keep all your plans that are separate from other documents. I'll leave that decision up to you. And here I've set that I want to autosave every 10 minutes, and that I want to save all open projects, and it's not going to prompt me before saving them. Now, you may want to give some thought to this, because if you leave it this way, the open project plans will be updated every 10 minutes. And if you're switching between plans and making a lot of changes, you may not want that to happen. So you'll have to think about how you work and whether you want to check this prompt before saving box. And so that will give you a chance to say, oh, wait a minute, I think I made a mistake in one of these plans. I really don't want to autosave it. I have to go back and correct it before I do that, so I'm not going to autosave this time. So I just leave that as a decision for you to make, and you need to understand that there are consequences for the choices that you make in this area. Now, as far as the other options, we really don't need to worry about them very much. So we've set up all the basic things right now, the options and the properties. So we can click OK. And that ends this navigation session. Lesson 2 consists of 3 parts. You just completed part 2 of 3. Please proceed to watch part 3.